I think it's a valid cause. And the pain and the true hurt and pain from years of people being treated in the wrong way is valid. But I feel like what you're saying, the political system is using the valid pain, the valid emotional turbulence, and they're taking that and they're trying to exploit it or capitalize on it.
I didn't really understand what they were doing, so I never really supported it, but I wasn't against it in a sense. Until I started to do research and realize who supports them, what they support, what they're behind. Then I'm like, they're not right.
I was kind of triggered. This whole process has sort of triggered me because 4 years ago, and again, I didn't put the connection together, but 4 years ago, I was in a baby wearing community, which is international mothers that are, have woven wraps for babies and they're carrying their babies. Social justice warrior came through on social media, came into the baby wearing community, and every single thing was cultural appropriation. Everything was your privilege. You need to stay in your lane, unpack. You're racist. Like all these things came out of nowhere, and everybody's like, wait, we have a community of people all over the world here. This is not what's going on here. And they said, either you adopt our rules or we're going to destroy your business. And people were so afraid of being called racist. So afraid. That is like one of the worst things you can be called, that people will avoid anything, to avoid that. So what everybody did, they stopped talking. They stayed silent. They were so afraid to offend somebody, say the wrong thing. They stopped talking and they just started saying all the trend words, all the words. Oh, I'm so sorry for my privilege. I need to unpack and I need to learn and I need to stay in my lane, and all the terms they started saying. This was 4 years ago. It took me about 6 months to process what was going on. And we had a group where we talked about it. A diverse group of educated people. But when I looked at it and I said, wait a second, when was this again? Oh my God, this was 4 years ago. And then I saw the search engine analytics that show Black Lives Matter in 2016, and then nothing till 2020. And you're right, it's gonna literally go away again and just disappear. Does that mean racial inequality went away? Does that mean people all of a sudden don't care about Black people now? I mean, this is the kind of stuff I hope people see through. But I feel like what you're saying, the political system is using the valid pain, the valid emotional turbulence, and they're taking that and they're trying to exploit it or capitalize on it. Now, is that something you've always kind of known, or when did you kind of start understanding that?
I caught that memo, I would have to say 2-3 years ago. I kind of caught it because I didn't really understand it. I never was for like that Black Lives Matter stuff. I just didn't. I didn't really understand what they were doing, so I never really supported it. But I wasn't against it in a sense. Until I started to do research and realize who supports them, what they support, what they're behind. Then I'm like, they're not right. But realizing, wow, this is really we're pawns in a game. And I'll tell you when I really understood it. While I was running for state legislator in Maine, a woman named Michelle Esquenazi contacted me because she's a Cuban woman, but looks white, red hair, light skin. But Cubans and no, Colombians, they can be like blonde or red. So she contacts me, and she's like, Bev, I need you to come down here and defend bail bondsmen because they are using Black people as a pawn to abolish bail bondsmen in New York. So she flies me down, and I go to these meetings, meetings or whatever. And when we go to these meetings, it's like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. And these people are standing up speaking on how much bail bondsmen affect Black and brown people. But every single person speaking up is white. And these are people from college studies. There's not one Black or brown witness to really stand, except for that one educated token Negro. People don't like that word, but I'm calling it what it is. That'll come up, the Black face that'll stand and say, yeah, I agree with all of their stats. Black people need help. Get rid of bail bondsmen. So mind you, in Democrat cities, Blacks have a lot of crime. They do a lot of crime. They commit a lot of crimes because, again, it's a Democrat city. A lot of them end up on welfare. when you are bored and you have a lot more time on your hands because you're not working and your mind is focused on other things, you get into trouble. I'm at this meeting and I'm seeing all of this happening and it hits me. I'm like, yo, they're going to get rid of bail bondsmen for black people, and more black people are going to end up stuck in jail than ever before. Bail bondsman was the gateway to get out of jail. If they committed a crime, if the bail was $100,000, they would pay 10% of that and be able to get out. But then now you had a bail bondsman to keep them accountable and to send them to court, to go to court on time. So that bail bondsman, of course, he's making money doing what he's doing. Ain't nothing free in this world, but yet he's still putting himself at risk. And it was easier than dealing with a parole officer or a probation officer dealing with the bail bondsman. They were a little bit more understanding. You could talk with them. It wasn't just, okay, this is what it says on the paper. If you don't respect what's on the paper, you're going to jail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, with all of that being said, Governor Cuomo ended up getting voted back in, and that's when he did the full term thing, and he abolished, he got rid of bail bondsman. So then now all of these people are getting locked up and getting stuck in jail, but then also a lot of people who are constantly going to jail are getting released. They're not, the accountability scale has switched. It's crazy. And that's when it hit me. I'm like, wait a minute. They all use black and brown issues to get the majority to feel sorry for them. And they're like, oh yeah, black and brown is still going through more stuff. We gotta vote this in. We gotta vote this guy in. He's gonna help. He's gonna do this. And then we're back where we started and taking 10 steps backwards. And usually it's in blue cities